I'd like to call this meeting of the Show Low City Council to order, show that all council members are present. Tonight, I've asked Councilman Judd to lead us in the invocation, followed by the pledge by Councilman Clark. If you'd all like to stand and join us, you may do so.
Our Heavenly Father, we're grateful for this opportunity we have to meet together this evening for our City Council meeting. We ask that Thy Spirit will be with us and Thou will help and guide us to make decisions this evening. Please help this town to grow and prosper. Please bless us with rain and moisture that we need. We ask that Thou will look after our city staff and employees, look after our police and our first responders, that they can be watched over and protected. And we say these things in the name of Thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilman Judd and Councilman Clark. Next item on the agenda is call to the public. City Attorney.
Thank you, Mary. Any citizen desiring to speak on a matter that is within the jurisdiction of the City Council may do so at this time. Comments shall be limited to 3 minutes per person and shall be addressed to the City Council as a whole and not to any individual member. Pursuant to the Arizona Open Meeting Law, the City Council cannot discuss or act on items presented at this time. At the conclusion of the call to the public, individual City Council members may respond to criticism made by those who have spoken, ask staff to review a matter, or ask that this matter be put on a future agenda.
Thank you. I do have one. Mr. Roberts.
Good evening. Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm back again to remind everybody that we have the car show coming up in 10 days. It'll be a week from Friday for the cruise down the Deuce. I'd like to encourage everyone to go sit along the Deuce. We'll be running down the Deuce about 5:30, between 5:30 and 6 o'clock. And we'll be running from the Stake Center building to Hatch Toyota, where Hatch Toyota is putting on the Burger Burn. And then the car show will be, the Burger Burn is open to the public, and it's going to be a great turnout. We'll have pulled pork sandwiches and chips and drinks, and about 150 cars we think will be in the parking lot there that everybody can watch, and they can also watch them as they drive down the Deuce. So we'd love to see everybody set their chairs up and all along the Deuce, you know, from the church to the downtown area and beyond. The car show will be on Saturday. So the Burger Burn's Friday night, the car show's on Saturday. We will have 200 cars on the field over at Frontier Fields next to the Splash Park. We think the weather's going to be great. We're going to have a good turnout. Everybody's prepared. I really need to thank the city for everything that they do in support of this. I want to particularly identify the Public Works Department and the Parks and Rec Department for all of the work and time and effort that they put into it. We also get support from the police department and from community services, and so we can't thank everybody enough. We have a lot of sponsors in the city that support this really well, and we want to have everybody recognize them. We have 8 major sponsors and a whole bunch of sponsors that are not on our shirt and not on our posters. But we recognize that the city has done a great job for us. So we want to thank everybody and hope and remind everybody to be there next Friday night, 5:30 on the Deuce, and then Saturday morning at 9 o'clock. So thank you.
And Mr. Roberts, just so you know, Councilman Adams will be there in my place Saturday.
Okay, so you get to pick out a car.
Cool.
Sounds like a plan. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay, next item on the agenda is recognition of winners of the Kids Rock Poster Contest and presentation of prizes. Mrs. Hall.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. The Kids Rock program, which stands for Kids Reach Out for Community Knowledge, is an educational outreach program designed to teach students about city government and the importance of being active and engaged citizens. The program was launched by the city clerk's office in the spring of 2001 for third grade students at the former Sholo Primary School, and is now presented annually for third graders at Nicholas Homestead Elementary School. Over the years, the program has continued to evolve through collaboration and feedback from school staff and city employees to provide students with meaningful hands-on learning experiences. As part of the program, students tour several city facilities, including the wetlands, airport, public works yard, police department, fire district, Sholo TV, parks and recreation facilities. Staff at each location provide students with an overview of services they offer and explain how their departments help serve the community. The program concludes with a pool party at the Aquatic Center. In addition, the city sponsors a poster contest that encourages students to illustrate their interpretation of community pride, and prizes are awarded to the top entries. And the winners have been invited to tonight's council meeting for recognition. And before council announces the winners and presents the gift baskets, I would just like to take a moment to thank all city staff who contributed their time and effort to make this program successful. Throughout the year, we continue to hear positive feedback from students and teachers about how much they enjoy the experience, and we sincerely appreciate the support and participation from everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hall, and I want to thank Councilman Adams for helping me judge this year. We have a table in one of our offices. It's probably as long as this, and that's how many posters we had to go through, process elimination, and it was pretty tough. We think they're all winners, but we're going to recognize the top 4. You want to grab that? I could have, in 4th place, Eli Bennett. Ooh, there's the microphone. And that's the, we're gonna keep these and display them, correct? So we're going to keep that for a while. Come on up, buddy. Congratulations. Let's take that out so you don't wear it. You can have it back. He's looking at me like, are you taking it away? No, you're still going to get it. I just don't want you to drop it. There you go.
You're gonna get it.
Thank you, young man. Great job. And in 3rd place, Samantha Tippett. Great job. And in 2nd place, Addison Solis. She didn't tell you? Thank you. Congratulations. And as you can tell, we probably had 40 or 50 of them down to 4. In 1st place, Vincent Apodaca. No, thank you. I'll shake with that hand. Congratulations, young man. Good job. Thank you again, John. Appreciate that help. Next item is on the agenda is presentation of crowning the 2026 Sholo Rodeo Queen. And it's kind of a privilege for me because, believe it or not, I was vice president of Miss Rodeo Arizona for about 6 years, many moons ago. So this is pretty exciting. So Mrs. Hall, if you'll read that now.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. The city of Sholo has a long-standing heritage of rodeo and the Western way of life. The first Sholo rodeo was held in the 1920s in a wooden arena on the hill behind what is now Sholo Ford. Ranchers and cowboys from around Navajo and Apache counties gathered to test their roping and riding skills. Now, over 100 years later, the Sholo Rodeo is held at Linden Valley Arena with hundreds of people in attendance. In April, Harper Reedhead of Shumway was named the 2026 Sholo Rodeo Queen. Harper will serve as the official ambassador of the Sholo Rodeo for the next year, making appearances all over the state of Arizona. Harper, we are proud of you and wish you the best of luck in your reign as the 2026 Show Low Rodeo Queen.
We did a TV show a couple weeks ago out at Meadow. Pretty easy to talk to. She was a little shy at first, but after we spent about a half hour, 45 minutes together, she came out. Congratulations. All right. Next item on the agenda is presentation of Outstanding Service Award to Kathleen Harvey, Mrs. Hall. You going to read? Oh, no, I'm sorry. Vice Mayor.
In recognition for nearly 39 years of dedicated service to the Show Low Head Start program from 1987 to 2026, serving in roles from volunteer to family service specialist, you demonstrated unwavering commitment to children and families. Your legacy is one of service above self, lasting relationships, and a profound and positive influence on the Show Low community. Your dedication has left an enduring mark on the lives of those you served and has helped shape the success and sustainability of the Head Start program. The City of Show Low extends its deepest gratitude and appreciation for your remarkable service and lasting contributions. Thank you. I remember.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Appreciate that.
Sure.
Okay, next item on the agenda is a consent calendar. Well, we were proclaimed by mayor, or proclamation by the mayor proclaiming May 17th through the 23rd as Public Works Week, consideration of a memorandum and understanding with development of Homeland Security, consideration of resolution number R 2026-12, consideration of resolution number R 2026-13, intergovernmental agreement with the White Mountain Apache Tribe, consideration of the minutes of the Show Low City Council meeting, regular meeting on May 5th, 2026.
Motion to approve the consent calendar?
Got a motion? Got a second by Councilman Judd. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion passed unanimously. City Clerk, you want to read? Do we want to read this one?
Tonight, so.
Nobody came tonight. We'll put that with the Kids Rock poster then. Thank you. Move right along under new business, consideration of appeal of conditional use permit 602-04 281 submitted by David Owens to allow for shipping containers on property identified as assessor parcel number 210-16044, 210-16047, and 210-16170B. Mr. Tregaskis.
Thank you, Mayor and members of council. At its regular meeting of April 28, 2026, the Planning and Zoning Commission voted 5-1, Commissioner McGregor against, Commissioner Whipple declaring a conflict, to approve conditional use permit or CUP 602-04-281 submitted by David Owens to allow shipping containers on properties identified as APNs 210-16044, 210-16047, and 210-16170B, subject to specified condition. This vote was taken following lengthy discussion by the commission regarding the general condition of the property. Since the April 28th meeting, the applicant has removed a semi-trailer from the subject property. The placement of shipping containers in a commercial zone is permitted through a CUP subject to specified criteria. There are currently 8 shipping containers on the subject properties which are zoned downtown commercial. Ordinance 2003-03, adopted on May 20th, 2003, adopted the previous zoning code the previous zoning code and allowed property owners to place shipping containers on commercial property subject to specified conditions. Currently, City Code Section 19.25.060H2 specifies that shipping containers located in a commercial zoning district must maintain a minimum 100-foot distance from any right-of-way, have satisfactory screening, and receive a conditional use permit. To adhere to these requirements, the applicant proposed installing a white, 6-foot-tall, smooth metal fence to provide suitable screening, and has repositioned the shipping containers to exceed the necessary minimum setback of 100 feet from any right-of-way. Conceptual site plan has been included for review. Conditions as approved by the commission are: all development shall comply with all applicable federal, state, and local requirements, including compliance with section 19.25.060H2 of City Code. The shipping containers be painted a uniform neutral or natural color on all 4 sides. The containers shall not be used for public rental or storage. The fencing along the east side of the property be extended to encompass the entire western boundary of APN 210-16048D. The fence shall be a neutral or natural color and not white. The conditional use permit is not transferable to other property owners if the property is sold. The commission will have this put on the schedule to be revisited in 3 years, and the fence shall be erected within 60 days unless upon agreement and discussion with the city of Show Low, the timeline for the eastern fence can be extended based on a mutual partnership to build the fence with the city of Show Low. On May 5th, 2026, the city clerk received an appeal from David Owens. Mr. Owens appealed the need for fencing on the east side of the property if he moves the container located on the east property line to the west side of the other containers, and the condition stating that this conditional use permit is not transferable. A copy of this notice of appeal has been provided to the City Council. City Code Title 19.20.080 addresses the process for appeals of conditional use permits and is attached. I would like to add that Mr. Owens did provide a follow-up letter this afternoon. I believe a copy of that was provided for the council. Based on this section of City Code, the City Council may uphold the commission decision to issue conditional use permit 60204-281 with no changes to the conditions of approval. Uphold the commission decision to issue CUP 60204-281 and modify the conditions of approval. Deny CUP 60204-281 or elect to set the matter for a public hearing. The City Council is not bound by the record of the Commission's findings and/or decision in reaching its decision. The City Council's decision is final and becomes effective immediately. With that, staff as well as Mr. Owens are available for questions.
Thank you. Turn it back to the council for questions.
Got a question.
Councilman Judd.
So my understanding is there's storage containers on the property, and P&Z authorized to have them moved and painted, and then a fence put up as well. Maybe you can summarize that for me. There's a lot of info in there.
Yes, absolutely. I think the aerial photo that you have in front of you helps illustrate. So we can see that there are, I believe, 7 shipping containers that are grouped in one location. These are actually almost directly behind where you guys are sitting up there. There is also an additional shipping container that is located here along the east property line, separate from those grouped containers. Based on the appeal letter that was received, Mr. Owens indicated that he is willing to move this container on the east side of the property to where it would be grouped with the other shipping containers on the property. I believe he is requesting that so that he would not be required to put any fencing along this east property line. We've got a site plan which was drawn there by Mr. Owens. Also, he's showing the screening for the shipping containers, shown as an 8-foot tall and 60-foot long. You can see that, again, the sheet metal screens. We do have a number of photos that were taken this morning. This is one of the shipping containers. This is the westernmost container of the group of 7. This is visible from just right outside this building, and you can see it's painted white. There's also a fifth wheel trailer parked here along that driveway. This is again another view of that. You can see the trailer there. There also are some look like semi-trailers back here that are being used for storage by Sunshine Herbs. We do have kind of a cargo van looking that's also visible there, and then a school bus that's visible from that same street. This would be the view from 11th. So you can see here the ones with the white doors. Those are the ones that are grouped together. You can also see one here that's painted more of a natural beige tan color. That is the container that is standing by itself, and that is being proposed to be moved over adjacent to those larger group. Again, you can see that this was taken from 11th, so those shipping containers would be visible from 11th. This is the view of the group of shipping containers from the entryway into the new parking lot, this new city parking lot along 11th. Also, you can see the shipping containers. This is taken from the corner of 11th and Hall. And then again, back to the aerial photos.
So they're in compliance. That is a commercial property, is that correct? You said
It is zoned commercial, yes.
with the storage containers, since it's commercial, and the issue seems to be that you need fencing to block the view.
So city code requires certain specifications to be met for shipping containers to be eligible. One is that it be on commercial property. This is commercial property. That they be placed at least 100 feet away from any right-of-way, and these exceed that. They're approximately 150 feet or so from any right-of-way. And that they be sufficiently or adequately screened from view from any public roadway. If those three criteria are met, the project would be eligible for a conditional use permit. However, conditions of approval can still be added, similar to any other conditional use permit. They do have to relate to the project at hand. They have to be reasonable. The example we gave during the commission meeting, you can't require them to put a gold statue out front. That's really not tied to what they're doing. That's really not a reasonable requirement. But other requirements, provided again they are connected to the request, you can add those conditions of approval.
Vice Mayor.
Justin, so we're giving a conditional use permit, but it appears that we're giving this use permit to allow them to be placed there. Was there a conditional use permit obtained for the original placement?
So what is being requested is a conditional use permit to allow them to remain. There was no conditional use permit granted for the original placement. Those were placed without discussion with the city. The current property owner, Mr. Owens, has inherited the property. And as such, he kind of inherited the issue as well, which is why he has applied for the conditional use permit and is appealing said conditional use permit to the council this evening.
The city previously notified the owner that they were out of compliance?
Mr. Owens, David Owens was the first one that was notified that they were out of compliance.
Thank you.
Questions? So I'm kind of curious, are we going to add more? I mean, how many can you put in there? As many as he wants?
So this was an item that was identified during the Planning and Zoning Commission. Currently, code does not state a maximum number. I believe is the intent that it really should be limited to one and not multiple. That is something that the Planning and Zoning Commission, I think, would intend to address moving forward. The Planning and Zoning Commission could also address, if the council so wished, that we amend or modify our downtown commercial design standards to kind of beef those up, bump those up a little bit more than what we currently have.
And you said Mr. Owens is here?
Correct.
I'd like to talk to him. I got a question. Come on up for a minute. So I state your name and address just for the record, please.
Sure, it's David Owens, 980 East Huning, here in Show Low.
Thank you. I guess my question is, I think you're enjoying the beautification we're doing down here.
Yeah.
I guess my biggest concern is do you have a plan to leave them there? Are you going to move them eventually? I mean, I heard a 3-year thrown out there. Is this something that I'm sure you're going to work on moving them? I don't know.
They're not permanent. I do plan on moving them. They don't belong to me. They belong to my brother, and he's out of state. So I inherited them and as they are, and so I'm doing my best to clear things up.
And I'm sure like everything else, like our sheds at home, they're probably full, correct?
I'm afraid so.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions for?
What's your intent to do with the semi-trailers, the well drilling rig that is in that other corner, be the south and west corner? That stuff.
Right. First of all, I don't know who there's a van that's there that I don't know who.
The school bus?
Oh, there's a school bus there that my parents put there, and I would like to give that to anybody that would like it.
All S&D auto wrecking, they'll come and pick it up and pay you for it.
I would love to get rid of it, and along with the van, the well drilling rig will put somewhere. I don't have plans for it.
That just a suggestion, that scrap stuff, S&D out at
Mhm. Yes.
Snowflake, they'll just come and get it and they'll give you money.
And we have been taking stuff over there, so, but it's a process. I'm not a young punk anymore, so I'm doing the best I can. I'm 76 and I don't move like I used to. So I do want to comply with city code. And I'm here to clear things up.
You have a direction long-term of what, after, say, when your brother gets back and picks the containers up, and what's your goal there with them?
I would like to have them out, yes.
Are you looking to sell it,
So
property? At some,
I'm afraid my mother would roll in her over in her grave if I sold it right away, but that's a possibility. But I would like to clean the whole place up and make it look decent.
Councilman Judd.
Mayor, maybe it's a question for you or maybe Justin, but so P&Z approved for 3-year, and we're appealing that just because of the fence, because they've already approved for them to keep it there for 3 years and readdress it. Am I missing that? So on item 1 there, P&Z approved.
So the Planning and Zoning Commission did approve this. One of the conditions that they added was that they would like to put it on their schedule to review in 3 years.
Okay.
It wasn't necessarily that they had to be gone in 3 years, but they would like to just kind of revisit it and see what kind of progress and things have been made there.
So what are we appealing on from P&Z to? Okay, yeah, go ahead. What are we appealing from what P&Z approved?
First of all, if it's okay, if we agree on things the way they are, if it were to change hands, why would it change? You know, if you okay it now, why wouldn't it be okay in 3 years? Why would it need to be readdressed to rehash? I do plan on cleaning things up, but I hate to have something over my head stating that if I don't, then there's consequences. But yes, I do plan on cleaning things up.
So the
Also,
appeal is you want, if you just said you weren't going to sell it, but if you did sell it, you want it to roll over to whoever buys it, right? And then the other part of it is you don't want to put a fence on the east side of the property, correct?
On the east side,
The problem with that I have, huge problem with that, is that's going to be a park. I mean, we're putting bathrooms there, we're going to put a park there, we're doing a lot of really nice things there, and without no fencing there, I don't see how that park's going to look. The park will look nice, but then you're going to have the view of all those containers. So moving that one, to me, doesn't justify, I think there needs to be some kind of privacy fence, personally. That I do like. As far as transferring them, if it stays in your family, you have a pretty big family, so I can see it. Are you saying because if it change? I guess this question for Justin again. So whatever whose name is on the property now?
So it's currently, according to county records, owned by the Owens Family Trust. There's several different iterations of that, but that's the current ownership of the property. The way the condition is written is if the property is sold. So if it was to be transferred from one family member to another family member within the trust, I don't think that we would fall under that condition at that point. This type of condition is a mechanism that's used by the commission from time to time.
Sure.
Primarily, we know Mr. Owens. We've had conversations with Mr. Owens. He's been here, he spoke to you, he spoke to the commission. We have a fairly good idea of what he intends to do. He's already made some statements to that effect this evening. Where that condition comes in is if Mr. Owens was to sell it to somebody who we don't know, we haven't worked with, and we've not had these conversations, that becomes a mechanism to open that conversation back up. So it's not meant to penalize or anything like that. It's just meant to be a way that if there is somebody new in the conversation, that we're able to have that with them.
Okay. Before, did you have a question? Oh, okay, good. Go ahead.
Justin, help me understand. It looks like in the findings of fact that you included in our packet, there were 3 conditions that for staff recommendations. Is that correct?
Correct. Staff recommendations originally were condition number 1, all development shall comply with all applicable federal, state, and local requirements, including compliance with section 19.25060H2. The shipping containers must be painted a uniform color on all 4 sides. The commission added neutral or natural to that statement. And then condition number 3, the containers shall not be used for public rental or storage. Conditions 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 were added by the commission as part of their meeting.
Can you help me understand what the rationale was behind that? I didn't go watch the meeting or read the minutes or anything. I wanted to come in this as a kind of a neutral party. So could you help me understand how the commission got to adding those 4 through 8 conditions and kind of what was the rationale from our commission?
Certainly. So the concern, I'll just kind of go down through them, starting with condition number 4. And I'm going to back up here on some of these photos. So the first condition that was added was the fencing along the east side of the property be extended to encompass the entire western boundary of parcel 210-16048D. That parcel, let me bring up that aerial, is this parcel right here. So it would be the north half of the property adjacent owned by the Owens. It's approximately, that property, it's a shared property line. It's approximately 104 feet, give or take. Does that sound about correct?
I measured it today and it was more like 150 feet.
Okay, I just measured off the aerial from here to here. Yeah, it's about, as measured off the aerial, it's about 108. Mr. Owens indicated it might be a little bit longer than that.
Okay.
The concern there was, again, I'm going to go to this. So if you're on 11th and you're looking back into the property, across the city parcel, back to where the shipping containers are, if, as originally proposed, the fence was going to end at the edge of this shipping container, the one that is now proposed to be moved, you can see that that would not screen those other shipping containers that are grouped together. And so they added that condition to extend the fence down that property line to be able to adequately screen those shipping containers as required by city code.
And I have one quick follow-up question just for the picture we're looking at. Justin, is that pile of debris, that is from the city's construction site, right? For where we're erecting a restroom?
Correct. You can see right here on the edge of the photo, there's some split-face block that's sticking up above that dirt.
Okay.
That is dirt that was removed as part of the construction for those restrooms, and that will be removed in the future as we move forward with getting those restrooms completed. So that'll just open it up a
That's
little
our
bit
mess.
more.
We'll clean it up when we're done.
We better, yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
just making sure. Thank you.
On condition 5, the fence shall be a neutral or natural color and not white. Again, the concern was that white in this location tends to stick out versus the natural color, more neutral color that you see on this other shipping container. That tends to just blend in a little bit better. That was the intent of the commission on that. Number 6, about the conditional use permit not being transferable. I think we've already addressed that. The commission will have this put on to be revisited in 3 years. Again, I think we've addressed that. And then item number 8, the fence shall be erected within 60 days. So this applies to the fence that would be on the west side of the shipping containers. So these would be the ones that you see as you're on 9th looking into the property. We also had discussion about, we're neighbors, right? We own the property next door to them. It's normal when 2 neighbors and one of them's putting up a fence that they get together and they talk about it and they figure out how that's going to work and who's going to pay for what and can you split the cost and is the fence going to be on my side versus your side, different things like that. Yeah. And so the commission on that condition 8 gave the city some latitude there and gave Mr. Owen some latitude that if we can work together and get something that is agreeable to both of us, then that would satisfy that condition.
Well, I guess my question to follow up to that is, what concerns are these 4 through 8 addressing that, like, staff didn't have those concerns, it seems like, when they implemented the 3. So why did the commission have concerns that they felt like they needed to add more than what staff recommended?
Again, there was a fairly lengthy discussion with the commission. Some commissioners felt that we should be doing more. I think these conditions were an attempt to kind of satisfy everybody. They did come in with additional conditions, obviously, again, looking to kind of step up what's in the area and try to get that to a little bit higher level than maybe it's been in the past.
All I have for staff at this point.
Thank you. Anybody else have any questions for staff or Mr. Owens? Go ahead.
No, Vice Mayor, I think raise your hand.
Going back to the 3-year time period, approximately, or being revisited, even so, if it even transferred to a family member, it would still need to be revisited. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yes, so all of these conditions would apply if Mr. David Owens still owns the property or somebody else in the Owens family owns the property. These conditions would apply and would transfer. The only time that they wouldn't would be if somebody outside of the family purchases the property and wishes to continue having the shipping containers there. At that point, again, we would have a similar type process as what we're going through and similar type conversations.
So we don't anticipate that they would be removed within a time period.
I'd leave that to
That
Mr.
could be
Owens, yeah.
In perpetuity. You know what I mean? It could go on for years and years and years.
There is no specific condition that requires the shipping containers to be removed by a certain time. The only condition is that the commission wants to review this matter in 3 years. And if it changes hands, then the new owner would come in for a new permit, new application, and new conversations at that point.
So that being said, Mr. Owens, is there any way that you can maybe tell us in a couple of years you get them out of there? Because you said you want them out of there.
I would like them out. They're not mine.
Sure.
What I keep.
But can we, if we put something on there, I know what you're saying, like in a couple of years or whatever, they've been there for a long time, but if we put another condition, if that sounds like it, we need to do for a couple of years, if they're not moved, then we revisit it again? Does that make sense to you? So that road on the overhead, is that an access road for everybody, or is that just because it's not fenced off?
That's a private drive.
That is a private drive to your property?
Yes.
So if there was a fence there, there'd have to be a gate there, right?
There used to be a gate. There used to be an entryway for the trucks to deliver produce to the health food store.
Right.
In fact, this afternoon, they said, well, what happened to our right-of-way? What happened to our entrance so we could have the trucks drop off their goods? And they said, well, the city agreed to have a gate there so we could drop stuff off. But now they've changed their mind and they are not allowing that anymore.
So is that a deeded easement, or is that just what
It
you
is
used
not.
to?
It was there when my grandfather, when we would drop hay off, we had 2 barns, and right there was the bigger barn. We would drop hay off, and that was a way to get in and out of the property instead of trying to turn a horse and
Sure.
rack of hay around. So it's been used there for years, and then the city came along and decided it wasn't needed anymore.
But is that because the city owns that? That's what
The
I don't
city does
understand.
own that.
The city does own that. Okay, that's what I wanted. Councilman Clark.
First of all, Mr. Owens, thank you for coming. I want to express my
thank you.
appreciation for you coming in and working with the city. I want to thank Grant and Carolyn and their family, as well the Brewer family, for taking on this project. Obviously, this predates you owning the property, and so I hope you know that we appreciate the Owens and the Brewer family, and as far as the stewardship that you have in our community, we know that you do a lot, and I will say this from a personal level, I do miss your mom. She was a tough lady, but she also provided a lot of services to this community, especially in the form of housing and opportunities for people who were down on their luck. So I appreciate that, and I want to thank you for that. And I also want to thank you for removing the trailer. It sounds like since the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, Justin, you indicated there was an 18-wheeler trailer that had been removed from that. So thank you for taking the steps in the right direction. I appreciate that. My question for you is, did you offer this to the Planning and Zoning Commission as far as either moving the trailer to one part of the building or removing the sea containers from the property during that meeting, or is that some new development that's happened over the last few weeks?
After the Planning and Zoning told me that the fence would be 3 times the length of the cargo containers, and checking into the price of putting up a new fence there, it was very prohibitive.
Mm.
And I felt like if I just moved that cargo container on the east side to the west side of the others, then it would remove that almost completely, because what you're not seeing is a fence, as the city's block fence on the east side of all those cargo containers. There's a block fence, and so you wouldn't see nothing, you wouldn't see anything but the face of the other cargo containers. On the other side, we would put up a screen.
So for me, Mayor, I don't know if this is out of line, but I feel like an opportunity might be here for us to, Vice Mayor indicated these containers have been there for a significant amount of time. Mr. Rollins is coming in here trying to bring the property in compliance, as opposed to us erecting permanent screening that may outlast those containers. It might be more effective to grant a conditional use permit with a sunset date that requires him to remove those, give him 3 years or 5 years, or whoever your family member who lives out of state to remove those. And then instead of having that permanent screening there, and that might be an alternative for us to meet if you as the property owner wants those removed. Doesn't make sense to me to have permanent screening there that costs you a significant amount of money and that would be obsolete in the near future once you remove those. So that's something I'm at least thinking in my mind, so.
And I like the idea of a sunset so we can revisit it. Before we go on, and I also appreciate you coming. Mrs. Brewer, you wanted to say a few things, I believe, on this subject?
Good evening, Mayor and Council, and I appreciate the chance to speak here, and I don't enjoy public speaking at all, but I do love living in this community of Show Low, and I'm a lifelong resident, and my dad lived all of his 95 years here, except for the 2 years when he went into World War II to serve our country. And when those wars were fought to preserve liberties, and property rights is one of those liberties. And if we can't enjoy our property or have the right to a freedom to do the things that we want on our property, we don't have that liberty. And when we pledge to the flag, we pledge we are a republic. We don't want to be a socialist. And when socialism takes over, they take the rights of property owners. And thank you, Mr. Clark, for letting people know that we're not just someone who came here and bought one little house, and we've been here lots of years. And in 1903, Connie as well, Kakavas, my great-grandparents, her great-grandfather, two of them purchased the property of Show Low from Henry Huning after Henry bought it from Cooley. And so it's been since just at the turn of the century that our family has owned this property in question. We haven't left. We haven't gone away. That property has been in the family. And yes, David inherited a problem, but he wants to help fix it. But we want to, and we appreciate the people wanting to make things look better. But this little town, people have come here, whether it's been a farming community, there were 2 barns there, there were pig pens there, my parents had a dairy right here, and there was 18 cows that we took to the field and back every day. We crossed Main Street without a stoplight. Cars would stop and take pictures because every day that had to be done. They'd bring them to milk them, and they sold milk right here from their dairy. And when you divide up the over 500,000 acres that got purchased in 1903 between about 6 men, it comes to over 83,000 acres per person. So yes, our family has owned a significant portion of this town, and we haven't gone away, but we have people come in and want to tell us what we can't do. And so, just like where my dad served in World War II, blood has been shed over liberties and freedoms. And my religion, there's someone called Captain Moroni who also fought for freedom and liberty. And so I come here thinking that sometimes there's selective enforcement. there's someone here sitting in this room who's got family members who have cargo containers on their property, it's not commercial property. I don't have a problem with it. But when there's lots of cargo containers around town, I don't have a problem with it. And there's something, if we can turn our head, if it's not hurting someone else, then I feel like it's a freedom that we're losing. And let's see, there's a quote by, there's Mark Skousen. He said, in a free society, individuals have the right to do right or to do wrong, as long as they don't threaten or infringe upon the rights or property of others. And I would like to thank you for taking your time out of your lives to come and help serve the people and try to make our community better. There's so many details that go into a community, and in ways I hate to see the growth, because I remember knowing practically everyone in town, and our parents did know everyone in town. And so in ways it's hard to see the growth, but thank you for trying to do good, but I hope we can preserve liberties.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So does anybody have any questions or comments from here? I kind of like the idea. I know you've kind of said that you'd like to clean up the property. I'd like to throw something in there, kind of like what you said, with maybe another condition. I look at it like you just said, if we put up a fence on this east end, and then I don't even know how you get containers out of there if you put something up there, but maybe it's something we can do temporary. Because I believe him when he says he wants to clean it up. I definitely believe that. And he's already shown that by removing a tractor trailer already. I think we somehow, I kind of like your idea of maybe putting a sunset clause in there that give him a few years to get it cleaned up, because it's quite the project. We all know what's in there. We see it quite a bit, so. What's the council feel on?
So, and according to Councilman Clark, so if he removes the containers at some point, and that's not right away, maybe in 3 years, you wouldn't need to put up the fence. If you're not agreeable with that, maybe we could give him more time on the fence. But are you in agreement with what he said for trying to get rid of those eventually? Then you wouldn't need the fence.
That would be great, yes. I do want to let you know that I'm willing to comply. I just want a reasonable way of doing it.
I kind of think we should keep that transferable in there. I don't think you're getting rid of this piece of property. Your family is huge.
Yeah.
If I was in your family and you sold it, I'd be mad at you. So I
Really?
think we're safe with that one personally. I think we should leave that in there. I think we do got to work on some kind of agreement that, hey, let's give them a few years. They're not out of there. We bring it back and maybe we say, hey, okay, we're going to put a fence or something. Councilman Adams?
So on the fence, I'm just trying to make sure I understand. So right now, the fence would be a shared cost the way it is now between the city and Mr. Owens. Is that correct?
It could be.
Yeah,
Could be. The city has plans to put a fence along there as part of that project.
And if he does that, would he be sharing the cost for that fence?
Some of the cost, I think, is what was contemplated there on condition number 8. They get with the city and work on that. But if the fence isn't required and the city puts it in, then the city puts it in.
Is it a privacy fence, split block fence?
Councilman Hatch,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Is it split?
Shane, can you answer that? I think it's a split block fence right now.
I think the original concept was site, either a wood fence or a block, and something that you can see through.
So block to match
Or-
bathrooms and stuff.
Or I think wood was discussed. I think originally wood was discussed.
In between the new park and the property.
Correct.
Councilman Clark?
Just a follow-up question on that, Shane. So if the city puts it in and the Owenses don't, wouldn't we just continue that block wall that's already, we kind of have it set up on the side and it goes down there? Is that what we would do as the city? If it wasn't, the Owenses weren't required to do that, that would be something the city would probably do, would have uniformity there?
We could, yeah. We discussed both options, wood or block, just to try to have some sort of a barrier there from the park to the surrounding properties.
Again, that's why I wanted to know what that easement road was, because now I have a concern if we put anything there, those containers are going to live there the rest of their life. Because how are you going to get them out of there?
There's other access points.
Well, I know, but I understand that. I seen that on the overhead, but is there enough room? Can you get containers? Can we see that overhead again, just to clarify? I'm kind of concerned that I want to make sure they're not stuck in there.
I'm going to go
Oh, I see.
back to one of the original slides, because that is zoomed in a little closer. So you can see the 7 grouped together.
Right.
And there is this driveway that comes through, comes down. You can also see where it goes onto the adjacent property. But there is quite a large area around those 7 in which to be able to maneuver and get equipment and things like that. Obviously, the block wall that's directly behind would be a little bit of a concern, but they were able to get them in with that block wall there too. So.
Sure. Okay. Thank you. I just wanted to see that again because I was, from looking at it from 11th, it looked like it was going to hit that house to try to get them out of there, but that makes more sense to pull them in there. Councilman Adams.
I just have a question. So usually when you have 2 different property owners, they split the cost of that fence. So wouldn't that be the case if we don't, I mean, if we're doing the fence, wouldn't it be split the cost? You got 2 different property owners enjoying that fence. Isn't that cost be split?
But I think Councilman Clark just made that comment. If we want to put up a fence and they don't want it, we're going to put up a fence. So that's the way I look at it. We're doing it because there's a park there. He doesn't have to do it, right? I mean, I think we just.
You don't want to do it.
Or don't want to do it. We want to do it. So that sounds like if we want to do it, it might be on us, to me. I think that's what Councilman Clark was kind of saying earlier, that we want a fence there because that's going to be a park and bathrooms and look kind of all pretty. If he doesn't want to, but we want to, then we're going to put it on our side and probably do it. So that's the way I look at it. Go ahead, Councilman Clark.
I'm gonna just talk through something real quick, so don't shoot the messenger, okay? So if we went back to the conditional use permit and I made a motion to amend the commission decision and approve conditional use permit 60204-281 and go back to staff's original recommendations, which was 1, 2, and 3, and I added a 4th condition that said the applicant shall remove the 8 sea containers within 3 years, 36 months, whatever works for Anna. And at 36 months, you either come back in and reapply, or you're compliant and then you don't need the CUP any longer. Would that be something that would work with you, Mr. Owens?
Yes, it would.
And if I put a 5th condition on there that Grant and Kevin had to come help you move the sea containers, would that help out even more? Is it? We can also get your.
I think he raised his hand.
Yeah, Grant's saying yes. That's like an auctioneer. So with that, and I guess I want to put that out there. I want to discuss this with the council. I think that would. So in my mind, I'm thinking some of the problems that the commission saw was this having sea containers in perpetuity, and they wanted people from all over, who come and see the property to make it look nice from adjacent property. And we put up a fence and then they kind of stay there. But if he's willing to remove these for a problem he didn't create, and we get those out of there in 36 months, it satisfies what the commission wanted. It helps beautify the property, and then at some future point, we want to be good stewards. I know that throughout the years that your mom and dad and the Brewers have done land exchanges with the city, and you guys have, where our current sewer ponds sit, those used to be part of the Owens property and stuff. So I don't know if everybody knew that or not. And so I think we want to continue to work with you, and you seem to be working with us by moving that trailer. And I think that it kind of it satisfies what everybody wants with this. And it takes us 3 years, but like the vice mayor said, this has been a problem, or these sea containers have been there long before that time frame, and this hopefully brings about a resolution.
Probably back when they used to give those to you, but now they want to sell them to you because people want to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're going, what is anybody have any questions or comments or concerns with what Councilman Clark said?
Just for clarification, number 4 says you're going to fence it.
Right, he's going back to the original council or staff summary. You got to remember those other ones that the commission put in there.
Okay.
So what I will make, if nobody else has anything there, I don't want to.
Go ahead.
Your authority here. I would move that the city council amend the commission decision and approve conditional use permit 602-04281 submitted by David Owens to allow for shipping containers on property identified as APN 210-16004, 210-16047, and 210-16170B with the following amendments. That the only conditions that would be applied would be all developments shall comply with all applicable federal, state, and local requirements, including compliance with section 19.25.060H2 of City Code. The containers shall be uniform in color on all 4 sides. The containers shall not be used for public rental or storage. And the current 8 containers that are on the subject property will be removed within the next 36 months. And staff shall bring this back to the Planning and Zoning Commission or City Council at that time.
I see 9, don't I?
Oh, you saw 9? I see 7, and then the 1 that would be brought over. Am I correct in that, Mr.
Yes.
Owens? That's the recommendation I would make. I would make that motion. And do you have that, Rachel? And are you okay?
Just had one question about the transferable.
Okay. No, because I think that if the person if Mr. Owens transfers it, they still have to have it cleaned up in 36 months. So I'm fine with somebody else taking on that project. I'm sure you'd probably be happy with it too.
Yes.
Especially if it's Kevin or Grant, so. So I don't have a problem with that. I think in 36 months, the property is going to be clean, and I'm going to take Mr. Owens at his word. I feel like he's an honorable person who's going to do that. So I appreciate you working with us so far.
Thank you.
So I got a motion. I'll go ahead and second it. All those in favor of the motion?
Before
Go
we
ahead.
do that, are we eliminating the condition of a fence on the west side then?
Yeah. Because then he won't need to bring a fence because he's going to remove all of them. So in 3 years, the conditional use permit is going to be superfluous.
You ready? Okay, I got a motion, got a second. All those in favor of the motion? I didn't count that. 4 to 3. Motion passed. Thank you.
Very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. This is a little different than with the Planning and Zoning Commission. With the Planning and Zoning Commission, there is a 7-day appeal period, which is why we're here this evening. When it comes to the council, there is no appeal period. This decision is final.
Thank you. And we'll be looking at that property every day now. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Oh, where are we at here? We were stuck there for a while. Okay, next item on the agenda is consideration of award of a construction contract for annual slurry sale 2026, City of Show Low, project number 500-5791. Mr. Reed.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. The city's 2027 fiscal year budget includes a capital improvement project labeled Annual Slurry Seal Striping Maintenance with a construction budget of $700,000. The scope of the work includes the furnishing of all labor, material, traffic control, and incidentals as may be required to place approximately 284,000 square yards of slurry seal on certain city streets and parking lots, and approximately 21,000 square yards of seal coat on certain city paths. The project also includes replacing striping and pavement markings on certain city roadways, parking lots, after the slurry resurfacing has been applied and cured. The project was designed by city engineering staff with an engineer's estimate of $636,800. The project was advertised for bids per statutory requirements, and 3 bids were received. Staff recommends awarding the construction contract for the annual slurry seal 2026, City of Show Low project number 5005791 to American Pavement Preservation, LLC, for an amount not to exceed $629,004.62. The agreement will be drafted using a standard city contract. Here to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you, sir. Do we have any kind of what roads are going to get slurry sealed?
We do. There should be a map in your packet.
Do we have it on the overhead or no? I can't move my fast enough. Sorry.
There you go.
Oh, there we go.
So 2026 is everything shaded there in green, plus the darker green parking lots, I believe.
Oh, I see what you're doing. So 2027 is blue, 2028 is kind of a light blue. Okay, that makes sense. So 2026 is all in green, correct?
That's correct.
All right. All right. Thank you. That makes sense. Any other questions or comments or motions? Councilman Whipple.
Make a motion. I move to award the construction contract for the annual slurry seal 2026, City of Show Low project number 5005791, American Pavement Preservation, LLC, for an amount not to exceed $629,004.62.
Got a motion and need a second. Got a second by Councilman Judd. All those in favor of the motion? All those opposed? Motion passed unanimously. Thank you, sir.
Got it.
Next item on the agenda is consideration of acceptance of changes of the city manager's recommended budget for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2027. Mr. Johnson.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor and Council. At its annual department budget meeting on April 16th, 2026, the council reviewed all fiscal year 27 budget requests with staff. Since then, staff has met multiple times to review additional budget requests as well as fiscal year 2026 project carryovers. Staff added additional requests to the fiscal year 2027 budget, including all the items requested at the April 16th budget meeting, as well as a request from Navajo County for additional funds for the prosecution agreement and the court clerk, which is approximately $90,000. Staff also carried over all fiscal year 2026 projects that will not be completed prior to June 30th, 2026. With these additions, the fiscal year 2027 budget exceeds the state mandated annual expenditure limitation by $1,873,834. To complicate matters further, staff learned last week that the grant funding for 3 of the 4 existing school resource officers for the Show Low Unified School District was not approved due to lack of state funding. The only SRO position that was approved is at the Show Low High School. The city manager spoke with Show Low School District Superintendent about this issue. The superintendent has identified the SRO position at Show Low Junior High as critical and has verbally committed to paying half the cost of this position. The district does not have the funding to contribute to the SROs at Nicholas Homestead Elementary or Whipple Elementary. If the city council wishes to keep the 2 SROs at the elementary schools, the city will have to pay the full amount. All 4 SRO positions are included in the proposed budget. As a reminder, the annual expenditure limitation is in the state constitution and is the only issue in this case. The city currently has sufficient revenue to complete all requested budget activities. However, due to state law, the city is required to budget and spend less than the mandated annual expenditure limitation. In order to come into compliance with state law, the fiscal year 2027 budget expenditures need to be reduced by a minimum of $1,873,834. Staff has provided 4 scenarios that would bring the budget into compliance. And I will say before I review these scenarios, they're certainly not the only scenarios. They're just staff trying to get together. We met a few times trying to take a minimal amount of projects out and reach the dollar amount. It's certainly the council's discretion if you would like to do any combination of these or do something separately entirely. So we do have 4 scenarios listed. And I won't read them word for word, but for scenario 1, a total reduction of approximately $1.9 million, remove Frontier parking, remove Meadow parking, remove the C.K. Peterson subdivision. That removing those 3 would be approximately $1.9 million. Scenario 2, remove downtown sidewalk phase 3, C.K. Peterson subdivision, the AMI meters, and keep Frontier parking and keep Meadow parking. And that would be a net reduction of $2.1 million approximately, which would leave us $394,000 under the limitation. Scenario 3, a net total reduction of $2.2 million, leaving us $470,000 under, would be remove the Frontier parking expansion and the AMI, keep Meadow parking, keep C.K. Peterson subdivision, and keep the downtown sidewalk phase 3. And then scenario 4, approximately $2.1 million, which would leave us approximately $300,000 under the limit. Remove Frontier parking, remove Meadow parking, remove C.K. Peterson subdivision, remove the AMI, and then add $1 million back to the event center. These are just some scenarios that staff has come up with to try and help the council make a decision. To bring the budget into compliance with state law, staff requests that the council select a preferred expenditure limitation scenario or an alternate scenario and provide direction on the number of school resource officers to include in the budget. Those are the scenarios, Mayor, and I'm available for questions.
I don't like any of them. Which I guess we can change, definitely. Any comments or questions? Councilman Whipple.
Question, Justin. If we don't do that AMI meter, the grant funded one, do we lose out on that grant or will that carry over?
It's a competitive grant process, so there are no guarantees. It's posted every year later in the fall, usually around October or November. It's been out there the last few years, but there's no guarantee it's even going to be there. And if it is there, there's no guarantee that we would receive the grant.
Thank you.
Yes.
Councilman Clark.
Is that a federal grant, Justin, or is that a state?
It's through WIFA, which is the
Water Infrastructure Finance Authority.
Yeah, so that's an Arizona thing, but it might be federal money that's passed through the state.
And then what is the C.K. Peterson subdivision?
That's the smaller subdivision there north of the ADOT yard. And the reason that staff did put that on the list is it was ranked number 8 of the project. So it really got in there because the 2 projects ahead of it were larger and weren't allowing us to get the budget balance. They were like $800,000-900,000. This one was closer to 5. So it just kind of jumped ahead because we could afford to squeeze it in.
And the rankings are, you say 8. 10 is a good road, or how's the ranking?
The rankings are based on the projects, not the condition of the road.
Oh,
So there were 7 other projects that were ranked higher based on the condition of the road.
And that road is in what kind of condition then? Just curious.
Mr. Hemsoth could maybe address that. My understanding is it's in good condition. It could last a couple more years.
That's all I need.
It was recently slurry sealed, but it's alligator. It ranks low.
Okay.
It does need to be pulverized and overlaid. It does see low traffic though, so it's something that we might be able to push a couple of years and grab in future budgets.
So the ranking of that road when we do it, what is it ranked?
Probably around it did just get slurry sealed, but it was probably around a 4, so it was pretty bad. Out of 10's good.
Okay.
4 or 5.
Just for clarity.
Councilman Hatch. I'm gonna get you trained yet.
Got
Promise.
to ask first to talk.
Yeah.
Could you clarify on the SRO officers, when you say it's in the budget, is that grant funded in the budget or is that we're paying for it already?
So we have those programmed into the budget. On the expense side, we took out the grant revenue.
So they're there.
They're there, but
Full staff.
with the exception of the one that did get approved, the other 3 are in there that would be paid by the city without getting the grant reimbursement. So it's a question of, does the city want to pay for that without additional grant funds or participation from the school on the other 2 positions?
Vice Mayor.
Recognizing that the SRO officers are funded by the state typically,
Mhm.
and they pull back on the grant funding for that. And they're still in their budget process. What can we do if they go ahead and give us monies to fund that?
In that case, if we left them in the budget, we could accept the funds through the unanticipated revenue and still receive those funds, which once we receive the grant funds, then it allows us to deduct those from the expenditure limitations. So the numbers you're seeing in those scenarios would actually go down by about $150,000 per officer. So if it was 3, it would be $450,000, roughly, rough numbers.
Councilman Adams.
Question for Anna. When we do things with the Show Low schools or schools, we have to get something in return. By doing this with the SRO officers, does that put us at risk?
So we do currently have an IGA in place that covers the SRO exchange that we have now, which does have some mutual facilities use in exchange. It would be crafting a new IGA to take into consideration. It doesn't always have to be a dollar for dollar exchange. There are benefits. The SROs would continue to be city employees. They would still be under the direction of the city. There is benefit to the city by having the officers in the schools by emergency response, juvenile interactions to reduce crime. So there are ways that we would be able to craft an IGA to encompass what they're doing in a different funding.
Go ahead.
Question. Maybe this is for Chief. In most schools, do they, and you get, I know junior high and high school, they have a lot of them, but what about the elementary schools? Is that really something they do in the valley? I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, currently Show Low has an SRO in every school in our unified school district, which is pretty awesome for the police department and for the community as we police with the community and form those relationships with the school and the children and our parents. It's not uncommon to have it in elementary schools, but there is some discretion in the grants whether to put a school counselor or social worker or school resource officers into that school with this grant. Most commonly, those positions are funded with grants, but prior to these grants coming into play, COVID era, the most common way to put school resource officers in schools was through the city government in lieu of through grants.
Including the younger kids?
Including younger kids, yeah.
And I think the Vice Mayor hit the nail on the head. They haven't even finished their budget yet, so there's still a chance that we could have this funded. So, Councilman Clark.
Yeah, this one's for the chief and then for Justin. So Chief, what if we don't approve any SROs as far as like the 2 elementary and splitting the cost with the junior high? Would that be a reduction in force for you, or would that be, or do you already have those officers, or do we have vacant positions that would go unfilled? How would that work for you and your department?
That would be a question for Mr. Johnson as far as that impacts the actual positions, but those would be, I guess, 2 positions that aren't funded by the grant, so that would reduce the workforce by 2. And we have those in vacancies with positions identified to start the academy in July. So it would be cutting those 2 positions anticipated to go to the academy in July.
And for you, Justin, what is the contribution this Sholo Unified's bringing to the table for paying half for the Sholo Junior High SRO? How much is that as far as, I don't need an exact number, but just a rough estimate?
So when the grant's submitted, they have submitted for all the positions at the highest rate, which is about 150,000. So it'd be about 75,000 roughly.
That's their contribution.
Yes.
Did you guys see the scenarios? Does anybody have an opinion on which one? Or a scenario, or Councilman Clark?
I feel like I'm doing all the talking, and only half of you agree with me, so I'm kind of worried about that.
You only need half.
Well, the last group, I'm waiting for people, if you don't agree with me, speak up. But my first thought would be to get rid of scenario 1. The parking expansion and the Meadow parking expansion had already been removed from the CIP. That's something that I think even in our discussions, Vice Mayor Kakavas, we kind of mentioned we're putting a lot into the Frontier parking expansion, and that it seems there to suit that well. The Meadow parking expansion, staff felt like we could wait another year for that, and I would assume these 2 projects would go to the top of the CIP. Is that right, Shane? And then the same with the CK Peterson subdivision. I would request that those be put at the top. Our citizens who live in that subdivision, they deserve to have their roads taken care of. They just, fell below the threshold that we have a criteria for. So I would ask that they would be brought to the top. And then I would personally prefer that we fund all of the school resource officers, the 2 for the elementary, the half one for the junior high. And if the money comes in later, that's fine. But the real crux of where us having SROs in all of the schools came after an active shooter situation in Tennessee. Individual who shot there, they indicated they looked for soft targets. The soft target that they identified, which was a private elementary school, did not have an SRO on campus. I feel like if we are living in precarious times, it's behooved of us to protect our most sacred resources, which are our children. So I would say I would want that to happen, even if they're, just there standing guard. It makes me sleep better at night. I have all the faith in the world in our SROs. I think we have some of the finest in the state. The ones who've been serving there for the last, the ones I know personally are their officers. They're second to none. Having helped train most of them, I feel like we are in very good hands in our community with our police force. So that's where I'm kind of leaning. So, but again, only half of you agree with me, so I'd like to.
So I agree with all that, except I kind of think the Meadow parking lot, we can probably wait on that one too.
Yeah, that's what
Scenario 4 though, scenario 1 doesn't have, it has the, to the parking lot, Frontier parking expansion, the Meadow. Oh, it has the AMI meter reader in it.
No, just
The grant funding is this scenario 4.
Oh, you would think that one?
Yeah.
I think we should go for that personally, but whatever.
Councilman Adams?
I like scenario 4. Just so.
Anybody else have any?
Personally, I like scenario 2, so it doesn't help you.
Of course. Now, Councilman Whipple, you like scenario 3?
Well, I just don't want to see that AMI grant lost. That would be
Right.
another 1.25 million that we would have to come up with later. So I just don't want to see that in there.
That's why I thought with him, along with what Councilman Whipple said.
Well, throw that out as a motion. Let's see where it goes.
You're
on a roll.
I want to hear
which
why
one?
people don't agree with stuff. So I'm like,
No.
we all have big boy voices here, so let's speak up. So let's hear it.
I think the funding will be out there. I mean, that's a chance you take. We also think we're going to get we could get this funded through the budget.
Yeah.
But we have a state that can't seem to do a budget, so we have to wait for them, but we have to have ours done. But if you ever watch, never mind, I don't want to get on that one because they're okay with us at times. But if we ran if we run our city like they run our state, we'd all be at home watching something. But that's my issue is I'm hoping that gets funded anyway, but I want to see it there like you do. I agree 100%. And the other issue that I do have is we're building this event center, and if we slow down on the event center, we're going to need some money to start ordering stuff before we have to finance it, so.
Can I just say one more thing before?
Yes.
It doesn't really deal with this, and I don't know what everybody else has said with SROs. I know we've talked about expenditures, but I'd be interested to see what everybody thinks about as far as funding the SROs. But I will say this, it's coming to my attention, I think this is for the chief and for Anna. If we agree on a budget item before money is expended, we need to revise or bring about a new IGA. Is that correct? Do you know?
Our old IGA is under their grant standard, and it's probably a little outdated and can use some updating. I know that there's some concerns about maybe some enhanced cooperation moving forward, and maybe some amendments that bring it forward to a little bit more recent times and needs. So I would suggest either way that we update the IGA.
Great, because that's what it's come to my attention that we are currently investigating a crime that happened on school property, and the school is hindering our investigation as far as providing, and I wish Dr. Farnsworth would have been here tonight to talk about this, I guess. I don't know why he wasn't invited, but we should have had him here because I can't understand why we have an investigation that we're investigating a crime that happened within their schools and they're purposefully withholding document or video evidence from our prosecutor's office. And I don't mean to talk down to you, Chief. I'm actually advocating for you that we should have a data agreement with the school, and it's completely ridiculous that they're trying to withhold evidence from our officers and our prosecuting agency and hiding under the guise of FERPA. And so I would want to make sure that if we're going to give them a dime, that we have a data use agreement in place with the IGA that satisfies FERPA, but also allows our officers to complete their investigations that they're doing on behalf of that district, which again is very frustrating to me. Because our officer is not able to conduct his investigation, and it makes me very upset.
So we're going to work on a new IGA with the schools, it sounds like.
I think it's totally reasonable to update our IGA and include the enhanced cooperation with law enforcement.
So does anybody else have any scenarios they want to talk about before we make a motion on one or the other, or?
I just like to see us, I know we need to get some money for that event center, and that's why I like scenario 4.
That was only reason I agree with the officers in the schools, 100%. I made that comment to the chief today, that one way or another, that's got to happen. That was one of the reasons why I like scenario 4 as well, because I want to make sure we don't fund anything yet for this event center. So
Say that again?
we're putting money. No, we don't have to go out and fund it. We can put it. We have it in there. That's what I meant to say. I said it my way. You just gotta. They didn't teach you at the high school, Shiloh High. That's what they taught me how to say it. All right.
Mayor, before you guys,
Was there?
before a motion's made, one thing that I did not put in the staff report was we brought 4.5 positions to the council, and there was quite a bit of discussion on the paralegal / legal assistant, so staff wasn't clear. It's currently in the budget in these numbers as a full-time legal assistant. So if the council would like something different than that, if we could tack that on. I know that's a big motion with the expenditure limitation and the SROs and now staffing, but I apologize, but we did talk about that today, and so I wanted to bring that up tonight.
I thought, if I could be wrong, but we thought maybe a part-time, but I don't think anybody even agreed to that. I don't know if I heard anybody up here say that we needed a full-time paralegal.
So we didn't really get clear direction whether or not, so it was easier just to add it because it's easier to take it out. Because we're
Okay.
coming up on the tentative budget, which is a point where we can't add stuff, so we wanted to bring it tonight in there. And if the council doesn't want it or wants it to be a part-time, then we can make that change and have it ready for next week for the.
So that doesn't need to be in our motion, right? Or you want it in the motion, so you get
Just, yeah,
direction?
it would be better if it was.
Okay.
That way we make sure we get in there what the council wants. Thank you.
Did anybody record any of that? Okay. Anybody want to make a motion? I'll go look for it. Hi.
You got it?
I move, you gonna make it? Somebody want to make a motion?
Go ahead.
Councilman Hatch.
I move to approve scenario 4, accepting the associated changes to the manager's recommended budget and improved 4 school resource offices in the budget with the commitment of Shoalo Unified School District to pay half of the unfunded SRO Shoalo High School. I'm going to negate the legal assistant part.
Everybody get that? We good with that? Good enough motion? Got a motion? I need a second. Vice Mayor second. All those in favor? Hey, went the other way. 4-3, motion passed. Thank you. See, it's not just you.
We're glad we got the SROs, though.
Okay, next item on the agenda is summary of current events. Anybody down there have any current events you want to talk about? Is it a beautiful day in Cholo or not?
Day in Shoalo.
Okay, that's good. Nothing? Anybody down there? The only thing I got to say, it's busy. We know it is. I said this last month, be careful. I think the wrecks have slowed down quite a bit. We had a busy weekend. I don't know what unfortunately, I haven't been out of Shoalo in so long. I actually was out of Shoalo last weekend, so it was kind of different, missing all the events. Sorry to miss them, but sometimes I like to have some sort of a life. Anyway, be careful out there. It's going to get crazy. Pray for some weather. We got a little yesterday, so things are looking good, and I think there's more coming maybe soon, we hope. City Manager.
Mayor and Council, just real quick, a few things. We have our Shoalo Main Street Farmers Market every Saturday from 9 to 1. They're at their new location next to the Shoalo Library parking lot on 9th Street in Huning. Also, our annual Shoalo Rodeo will be held on June 5th and 6th at the Linden Valley Arena, with events beginning each evening at 6 p.m. Friday night will feature the Junior Rodeo, followed by the Open Rodeo on Saturday evening. After Saturday's rodeo, attendees can enjoy a live concert featuring Arizona Peaches. Registration is now open. And the city's annual Project Clean Sweep continues with bulky item pickup beginning next week on June 1st through the 5th. Items should be placed in front of your residence next to the roadway by 7 a.m. Citizens can also haul debris for free to the Lone Pine Transfer Station next week, starting on Monday through Saturday, June 6th from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. You can visit the city's website for more information.
Thank you, City Manager. Schedule of meetings.
Just a reminder that our next meeting will be next week on June 2nd. So only a week this time between meetings. Next week on June 2nd.
Okay, back to our regular schedule of first and third. We might have to change the third. We'll see what happens. Hopefully not. Thank you guys for coming tonight. We appreciate it. Thank you standing up. I see no more business before this council. I'll adjourn this meeting.